In 2026, producing music in a home studio has become the new standard. Sure, old school recording studios are still being used by some of the biggest artists in the world, but for years now, more and more of the biggest hits are being made using a simple, effective setup. It's so easy to get lost in all the gear you can buy, but today I want to focus on gear I would buy for both the near term and long term, and with what I know now, set up a home studio as if I were starting all over again. So, whether you're putting together your very first home studio or want to upgrade your current setup, it's very important to have a budget. But also, be open to paying a little more for certain items that could either boost your setup to another level or serve as a good long-term purchase. And when I speak about boosting your setup, I'm talking about the brain of your studio. In this case, the extremely well-priced yet powerful Apple Mac Mini. I've always been a Windows guy until I upgraded to a MacBook M1 Pro back in 2021 and realized latency did not have to be a part of my life. I regret spending $3,000 for a Dell XPS, and if I had a do-over for a fifth of the price, I would invest in one of these. I would probably pay for extra SSD storage on this unit, but it does unfortunately skyrocket the price. So maybe an external SSD would be the next best thing. If a desktop wasn't an option, I would grab a refurbished M1 Pro for less than half the price of a new M5 MacBook. The M5 is slightly more powerful, but not nearly worth the extra $1,000. Also, if you favor the Mac Mini, make sure you have a screen, keyboard, and mouse for your setup. Now that we have our computer set up, we will need recording software. I started with Cubase and have been using it for many years. And if I had to do it all over again, I would start with Cubase Elements because it's well priced and the layout is very user friendly. Yes, you are limited to only 24 instrument and 48 audio tracks, but the rest is exactly the same as the Pro version. The stock plugins and VST instruments are solid, and in my opinion, limited tracks is good for beginners still learning how to produce, because it demands you to be more intentional with each element and track in the mix. GarageBand is also a great free starting point for a beginner, especially if you've got a Mac. Now that we have our Mac Mini or M1 Pro laptop with Cubase Elements music production software, we can technically now start making music. But we don't really have a setup yet until we have an audio interface and a set of studio headphones. If I was on a budget looking to build an effective setup for me to make music, I would wait on buying studio monitors and instead look at the next tier of audio interfaces and headphones. Studio monitors should be a medium to long-term purchase, and with this in mind, we're looking at spending at least $700 for a decent pair, not to mention needing good acoustic treatment. Instead of spending that right now, I would get a pair of industry standard Beyerdynamic DT770 Pro headphones, Arc On-Ear by IK Multimedia, and Audience ID4 audio interface. Whatever money is left can be used to bump up the storage on the Mac Mini. The DT770 Pros are used all over the music and recording industry and will last you many years. The Arc On-Ear is a little pricey, but if we're going to use headphones to produce, track vocals, and mix our music, calibrating the headphones to a flattened, more neutral sound is something that can only help get an even better sounding mix, especially with such a simple setup. The ID4 will be set up between the Mac Mini and headphones, connecting via USB-C, and I would aim to keep this unit for the medium term and then upgrade to an Apollo in maybe 3 to 5 years, because the plugins that come with that interface would be invaluable for our setup. Before we head to the final items for our setup, please don't forget to subscribe. I do have a goal of reaching 400,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and there's absolutely no way I can do that without you. Finally, we've got our microphone. I would go for a microphone that is well priced and ticks all the boxes. The MA67. This microphone sounds fantastic for a $100 microphone and comes with a metal shock mount, pop filter, XLR cable, carry bag. It will serve me well for at least 3 to 5 years. And then I'd probably upgrade to the AKG C214 once I'm ready for that next step. We'll also need a stand for our microphone, and since we don't have acoustic treatment, I would get this Aoki reflection filter with a basic mic stand for $60. And that's it, the gear I would buy if I were building a home studio setup in 2026. Yes, some items are more expensive, we don't have studio monitors, but this setup is the best value you're gonna get for this kind of money, especially if you're looking to make music for the medium to long term. If you're looking for something a little more budget friendly, make sure to check out this studio setup under $350.